G'day. So I was just having a jam with Paul. G'day, Paul. I'll post the video up. It's just us having, it's nothing, it's pretty raw. But I was having a conversation with him about when I worked with Buckshot from Duck Down Records with Unified Purpose Global. I had Unified Purpose registered and operating before that, before I met him, but met him in this coaching room on Clubhouse when that took off through COVID-19. All these, well-known coaches and business people that were teaching people their skills. It was a great opportunity to listen in and see how they operated. Bit shocking and confronting in some aspects as well, especially being here in Australia and, being in that room, so to speak, with all the big flyers in the US. But long story short, we ended up building a Metaverse before the Metaverse and all that stuff started getting popular, and all the NFTs where, with all these so-called experts, and it never really took off because we never really pushed it, heavily and hard. But one of the things I was very excited about was the music side of things. I had a music studio just when COVID-19 hit and I had to get rid of it because of that. But that was our headquarters, and ultimately I was gearing up to do augmented reality streaming and learning, guitar with augmented reality glasses and sort of have an innovative studio. And then not just focused on that and tech, but also to evolve into events and, us using those skills. For example, we, melodics.com spoke to and still would like to, in regards to, you'll see on that website, you'll learn through the things coming down on the screen, and it converts into MIDI, and then you can play it on your keys and gamifies your learning. So ultimately, through the NFTs and through the community building stuff that I've done, I still saw that it was the same as a business project, and that, through Buckshot and our's conversation, it was like, he knows through his experience having a record label that, these artists couldn't necessarily go ahead and rely on their income to be generated from their artistic flares and what they created. And what we were talking about with Paul, I was explaining, is that there's usually a topic of conversation or a topic and cause or whatnot that particular artist is singing about, which can connect to a project. So, and they're usually working or whatnot, some of them don't. But, the NFTs and digital assets, I still feel in a traditional 2D, flat app, gone a bit off the virtual sort of stuff and augmented and staying in reality in the real world. But it's, I think, still an opportunity there for artists, and I've talked to people outside of this, the music industry as well, like, haven't spoken to her for a while, but I'll give her a shout out. Sharon Davson, Australia's most successful female living artist. She proved herself and has a lot of wisdom to provide to an up-and-coming painter and artist to how they can monetize themselves and how to value those things. But she also lacked in the digital sort of environment, and I see quite clearly how that can pan out. So I'd like to invite anyone that is a creator that's doing art, doing music, to start a bit of a working group and start maybe an entity in regards to helping with all the other stuff you'll see on the videos, with the marketing and business orientated stuff, content creation, really democratizing and making that, which means making it accessible to all. These things that are barriers for people that are hard, because in business it's hard, to learn marketing, to duct tape these things together and make them work, and have the right people in your camp to reach the right people and get heard and get a return on those investments or time. So I understand that very well. But there's some fads and hype and stuff out there. There's groups I know doing meme coins for celebrities and whatnot. And that's cool. But as I said to them, I'm really focused on grassroots support. Helping the little people, little men, women come up. They're the ones that need the opportunity, and usually get bent over the barrel. It's not a good scenario. So, I can see that there's ways to, create outside of those digital assets, and typically as well, these people are sending their own links to Spotify and promoting at Spotify, where you can have your own platform. you know, you can have your own direct monetization and memberships like, you know, people you see doing now, and a lot more on YouTube and whatnot. And there's also that opportunity for, with a lot of the code that's available, to build your own small little platform and have complete control. But definitely, you know, when it comes to that for direct payments, and then when it comes to collaboration with, you know, the drummer in a band, or all the band members and the producer, the time that they put in, it's similar to sort of the slicing pie with contribution models and who gets disbursements on that revenue. And then when it comes to, you know, commercial rights and whatnot, if it's something you're really passionate about, you want to get that message out, you might have done quite well with your piece of art, but someone else might do better and help extend on that story. So those NFTs, like, just so you know, it's basics of it's a contract really, but it's programmed. So ultimately, whoever's meant to get dispersed the value, and if there's someone that does a cover of or a rendition of an artwork or a cover of a bit of music, and that becomes more popular, then it could be built into the conditions that there's a 10% royalty to the original creator, as an example. But anyway, there's all these sort of conversations and topics, you know, we can have, and still I think a lot of governance talk to be had around the use of technology and the balance of that across the board. But yeah, I just wanted to invite those that are interested, that have experience in that sector. I've been out of that sort of the blockchain and NFTs quite a while, but you know, if anyone is listening to this, seeing, especially I'll post this on the UPG, I'd love to sort of catch up with a few of you. Maybe we'll get a room going, and ultimately let's see what can come of a you know, working group or a collaboration if you've already got your own groups and platforms going, of exchange of knowledge on, you know, conditions. And yeah, let's see what can happen from that and have a bit of fun, and yeah, let people rise and get their voice heard. All right, thanks for listening if you have this far. All right, cheers, bye bye.